Hi everybody, my name is Sophie Immen and this is my Module 5 Organizational Leadership Flowchart. So I'm not currently working in a school district right now, so I decided to use my old school district and I decided to look at it from the district level and also from the school level. So at the district level, at the top is the Board of Education, and the Board of Education is the policy-making body of the school district. The board is made up of 7 volunteer directors who are elected to staggered 4-year terms. And below the Board of Education is the superintendent. And the superintendent also has a team of district leaders known as the cabinet. And the cabinet helps discuss and advise action on critical issues in the school district. And the superintendent and the cabinet, they work to carry out the board's policies. So each different department leader has a different role, and leadership is distributed through these different district leaders. So for example, the deputy superintendent, they are in charge of things like special education, mental health, ESL, early childhood education, gifted and talented. The assistant superintendent, they are in charge of the executive directors of schools. And in Douglas County, they have kind of separated out Douglas County into East Highlands Ranch, West Highlands Ranch, Parker, and Castle Rock. And there is an executive director of schools for each. They also oversee the executive director of schools for pathways for choice and alternative education. And then they also oversee the director of athletics and activities. The Learning Services Officer is in charge of things like curriculum, instruction, and assessment, and they oversee things like professional development and educational effectiveness. The Communications Officer, they are in charge of communicating with the public, and they oversee the Communications Department. So they're responsible for public information, crisis communications, media relations, parent community engagement, live streaming of board meetings, and also graduations and video production. The General Counsel is, they oversee the Douglas County School District legal team. So they are in charge of any legal processes that happen in the district. The Chief Human Resources Officer, they oversee recruitment, hiring operations, employee relations, employee wellness and benefits, EEO, compliance. The Chief Financial Officer, they're in charge of all the finance departments, things like budget, payroll, strategic sourcing. They also oversee the before and after school programs, and they are also in charge of the nutrition services. The Chief Operations Officer, so they are in charge of practical things around the school, such as transportation, operations and maintenance, and construction. And then the Chief Technology Officer, they oversee the IT department. Then, if we go down to the school level, so each school has a principal, and so my school, the head of the school was the principal, and they were in charge of making the overall decisions for the school. But they also had a team of people around them to help them carry out some of these duties. So for example, we had an assistant principal who also helped with things like behavior management, teacher observations, things like that. The PLS, this was someone who was in charge of mostly teachers, and they were basically the teacher for teachers. They also worked with new teachers who were on a probationary status. So teachers who were brand new to the district were placed on a 2-year probation period where basically they were just required to attend certain meetings. They were required to complete certain professional development in order to achieve their professional license. And so the PLS was in charge of leading these trainings. They were in charge of professional development for the school and also for new teacher observations. We also have a principal secretary, health assistants and attendants, and a registrar. And we have a building leadership team, and the building leadership team was in charge of kind of working with the principal to make decisions for the school. They kind of worked to communicate with the teachers as well. to get opinions on what should be changed, things that we'd like to see different. And so they kind of represented the teachers. And then, of course, we have the teachers, and they reported to the assistant principal and to the PLS, and also to the principal. And so upon kind of looking into the school leadership organization, I believe that the school district and my school follows distribution leadership, because the roles and responsibilities are not solely on the principal or on the superintendent. It's really distributed between different organizations, and it's just, it gives people more of a chance to have a voice in the leadership. And I found an interesting quote from an article by Gunter on distributed leadership, where it says, distribution of leadership can strengthen management and succession planning. Distributive leadership across different people and organizational structures can help meet the challenges facing contemporary schools and improve school effectiveness. And so I think by spreading the responsibilities and for allowing more voice in decisions, I think it improves the school effectiveness just by having more people working together toward the same goal. So that is my school district and schools organizational leadership. Thank you for taking the time to listen.